just so excited to see me every Tuesday. I can feel it like through the phone. You're like, man, I can't wait to watch Hannah mess around in her basement for the next hour, and I am pumped about it. So real quick, I want to make sure that I've got my other device going here so I can attempt at least to answer some questions as we go. Can you believe that we've been doing this for 7 weeks? I can't, but this is the 7th video that I've done in my basement, and my basement's getting used to it. I think I've settled in down here a little bit, so it's a little wild, it's a little crazy, but hopefully, soon we are going to be able to, transition back into real life. That would be a dream for everyone, I'm sure. I know that I prefer to teach classes in person, mostly because I tend to think I'm a really funny person, and when I crack a joke and I don't have any audience response whatsoever, I take a hit to my ego every single time. So either I'm just going to tell jokes and laugh at my own jokes, or I'm not going to be funny at all. Who knows? But I will definitely be excited to get back to the real world with real interactions with people. So hopefully that happens sooner than later. We are talking social media content, so content creation for social media. And this is something that we've heard a lot in the last few weeks. People have asked about like creating content, and it's such a broad topic that I've tried to narrow it down a little bit so we can get a better feel about how to create content for your business specifically. But it's a really hard thing to do for your business, especially if you're busy doing other things in your business, right? You don't have time to sit for hours and just think of awesome things to post on social media. So hopefully this class is going to give you a few ideas. I suggest if you see something on here that you like, write it down, start making notes, start maybe thinking about creating a schedule or some sort of social media calendar so you can sit down one day and plan a bunch of content to go throughout the week or throughout the month. I know that does help a lot of small businesses, and a lot of small businesses like to just fly by the seat of their pants and post when it occurs to them. So whatever works for you, but we're going to go ahead and get started with creating content on social media, and we gotta get a little creative. So real quick, let's just go and jump right on into it. So what is content? Now, content by the internet standards, right, by like our Wikipedia definition, is information and experiences that are directed toward an end user or audience. That's really convoluted, but we can break it down, right? It's information and experiences. We know what those things are, for a particular audience. So as a business, right, we're curating information for our customers. That makes sense. But Hannah's layman's definition of what content is it's what you post. What it boils down to is content is what you post. So if that kind of clears up like the idea of content creation, we're going to start thinking about ways that we can post different content on social media, or we can start posting different things. So why in the world does content matter? Before I jump into all of these very valid reasons, probably the biggest reason that I can convey to you right now about why content is important is because we're all on our phones. I got a notification on my phone on Sunday that my screen time was up like 24%, and I am pretty sure I'm not alone in that. We're all on our phones a lot right now. But it matters, content matters, because we all are using our devices, and we know content that we like, and we know content that we don't like. And so think about it that way. What kind of content are you really engaging with? What makes you smile? What makes you intrigued? All of these are reasons why content matters. Do you unfollow people because they're posting stuff you don't like? I'm sure you do. I know I do. So real quick, why does it matter? Biggest, most important reason, right, is it increases audience attention. that's why we have social media in the first place, right? Is to connect with people and to have their attention, especially as a small business owner or someone who runs the social media for an organization. You want the eyes on you and on your business and on your products and on your services and what you're doing. We're all competing against not only other businesses, but everybody else on social media. We're competing for attention. And so good content, great content on social media helps people look at us. And that's what we're all after. We want the eyes on us. And it helps with better social media traction. So this is another convoluted way to say it helps with the algorithms on social media. So if you've watched any of my other classes during the past few weeks, or if you've attended one of my Facebook classes in person, I talk a lot about the Facebook algorithm. We know that some content performs better on social media than others. We know that likes, comments, shares, reactions, clicks, those are all forms of engagement, and they're all really important. We also know that some content kind of falls flat sometimes. Some content is shown to more people. So that's how this helps with social media traction. By posting better content, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, LinkedIn, they're all their algorithms are bumping you to the top of news feeds, depending on how good and engaging that content is. So if you have any more questions about the algorithm, I could talk about it for hours. Go ahead and shoot me a message or message Square One. We'd love to have a sit-down one-on-one with you over video chat, of course, about the algorithm and how we can do better to kind of fool that algorithm or to get our better traction on social media. Another reason why it matters, right? We want to make sure that we're establishing trust with our customer. Now this kind of falls into two categories, right? We want to make sure that we're a trustworthy business, right? So when we post pictures, when we post videos, and we put our face in it, that is a form of trust and transparency, right? We can see that they're being honest with us. You can hear the inflections in their voice, the way their face looks. There's lots of different stuff that helps build trust through social media. But the other end of that is they're trusting you with that like, with that follow. So we've got a lot of followers, we have a lot of followers on our Square One page, right? We have, just put this page out. We've started, putting content out. We hope that people trust us to like our content. And that trust goes deeper than just like, oh, I think you're a good business and I want to follow your page. It goes into, I trust that you're going to provide good content for me. I trust that you're providing accurate content for me. I trust that you're providing consistent information. And so there's a lot that goes into that, and with content as well. I'm going to go ahead and check here real quick. Talk louder, Hannah. Okay. I will definitely talk louder. Do I need to talk louder? I feel like I'm talking really loud, but I'll do better. I'll talk even louder. Okay, real quick, we also want to make sure that we're generating leads. Somebody please let me know if I'm not talking loud enough, and I'll try to bump it up a few notches. Generating leads, this comes right down to sales, right? We want to make sure that we're getting more clicks to our website. So this is just another form of that. We want to make sure that the content we create is helping people be motivated to click further and to learn more. So that is going to be another way to generate leads. It's another reason why content matters. Improving conversions, the exact same thing, right? We want to make sure that we're getting website clicks. We're making sure that we're selling that product. I don't want to go as far to say that Facebook or social media should be a sales tool. It can definitely act as a sales tool sometimes, but it's more about building community. So that's another thing we want to think about, but it does help those conversion numbers. And then it enhances your SEO, so your search engine optimization. Just by having content that's regular on any social media, that helps when people search for you online. So if they're going to Google and they're typing in, local library, we want to make sure that Mid-Continent is one that pops up really, really soon. So by having our social media accounts active, that actually helps Google determine that we are a Kansas City local library that is available to that user. And then it also helps build authority. So this is just another way to say that you can establish yourself as a thought leader by posting good content on social media. So if you want to be that go-to person for lawn care or that go-to person for anything baking, you can establish yourself by building that authority through your content. So that is certainly one way why content is really important. So I've thoroughly convinced you, I'm sure, that content is important. You probably didn't need my convincing. You know content is important, or else you wouldn't be watching this class. So I'm going to jump right into it. One of the best things that you can do when it comes to content on social media is to diversify. And that I've kind of split that into two categories here. We want to diversify our content because our audience doesn't want to see the same thing over and over and over again. And that's not to say that you're the type of person that would post the exact same picture with the exact same text over and over and over again. There's certainly people out there that would do that, but we want to make sure that we're diversifying in other ways. So the first way is your campaign. So what is your goal for the post? If your goal for the post is the same thing every single time you post, that's not diversification, right? So we want to make sure that we are absolutely changing what our campaign is. So some examples, your campaign might be, I want to make people laugh. So that's a campaign that if you push out one meme or one funny, video, whatever that is, and you make that person laugh. Now, if we're not diversifying, right, and if all we do are post memes and funny things, then where's the business side? Where's that falling? Are we just like a funny account? There's definitely nothing wrong with being, a branded, funny account or a serious account or a salesy account, but we want to make sure that we are being true to our brand. So definitely switch up your campaign, and I'll talk a little bit more about this in depth and give you guys some awesome examples. But the other way we want to diversify is not only in the goal of the post, but also in the way that we are posting. So the medium. How are we getting that message out? So here's some examples of mediums, and it's certainly not an all-inclusive list, but I do want to make sure that you guys know the difference between some of these things. So just some different types of medium, right? We know that some social medias we can just post text. You've got Twitter, you can just post text. You've got Facebook, you can just post text. You got LinkedIn, you can just post text. That is absolutely something we can do. But when we go back to thinking about traction and the algorithms, right, we know that text is kind of at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to content. It's something that people don't see because it's not as engaging. So that is obviously one medium. We've got our text. Then we've got photos, right? Beautiful images that we put out, maybe not so beautiful, depending on your business, but we've got photos. Then we've got our GIFs, right? So those moving images. I purposely stuck GIFs between photos and videos. Why? Because it's kind of in the middle, right? It's a moving image. So we've got our GIFs, we've got videos. You know that I love videos. I love watching videos on social media. It's very, very important to start utilizing more video on social media because it is the content that gets boosted to the very top of everyone's news feeds. People like watching video. If you're uncomfortable with making videos, please reach out to us. We want to help you walk through that and start getting comfortable being uncomfortable in those videos. It's such a huge part of social media right now that if we're not building skills and learning new things, we're actually getting further and further down that news feed the more that we're not doing something that's trending and something that's popular. So videos are super, super awesome on social media. They're great content to post. Then you've got blogs, which are kind of associated with links, but if you have a blog, social media is a great way to kind of boost that blog, right? So you can copy the link or you can share your blog to your social media accounts. And then links as well. So if you've got the website or if you're linking to different articles, if you're linking to different business organizations, that's another form of media, right? Because it's not necessarily your video, it's not your photo, it's not your text, but we can share the link just to expand upon the reach of that particular post. And that's not to say that we can't also utilize text. We can say, we can say something about that thing we just shared. And I'll give you some examples on that here in a second as well. Something newer and maybe a little more exciting, people are a little more curious about it, are stories, right? So Facebook has launched stories, Instagram's had stories, Snapchat has had stories for a while now. But the stories are this 24-hour content, like it's almost like a personal folder of what you've done in 24 hours. So on a business level, right, you can utilize stories as a medium, and it's going to be through like photos and videos and text, but it's all in one space. And so people can watch those stories, they can see what you did that day, and that's going to stay separate from the content that you post on your page. I'm actually going to be giving a how to utilize stories class next week. So that's the class I've got going on for next Tuesday. We're gonna get that event created, and I'm gonna walk people through how to utilize stories. My boss bought me my little HDMI hookup for my Mac and for my iPhone, so we can do that class. So if stories are something that confuses you, or you want to know more about that, definitely tune in next week. Then we've got live video, right? So live video, it's huge, because you're watching one right now. But live video is great content. It's a different medium than your videos that you would pre-record. You've got infographics, you've got testimonials. If you've got people, if you've got reviews on your Facebook page, you can share those. Share those with everyone so they know, so your audience knows that you are a reliable business. It's some of the best stuff to post are those reviews and testimonials. We trust our neighbors, we trust our friends, we trust the opinions of others. And so this is content that you don't really have to work too hard at because people are already giving you those. And then, we can send out those e-newsletters, your emails, and then something that is a little more new as well are these like vlogs or podcasts, right? So I'm not going to talk too much about podcasts. It's really involved. If you've got the setup to do a podcast and you've got the consistency and the time available to do a podcast, that's great. It is another form of media when it comes to social media. So we're able to share lots of different stuff. So when we go back to talking about diversifying, we want to make sure that we are utilizing lots of this different, all these different mediums. We don't want to just post picture after picture after picture after picture after picture without throwing something else in there. We want to make sure that there always is a visual component, but for posting the same thing over and over and over again, we're not diversifying. So we've covered medium. I do want to go through campaigns and the goals of different posts, and I think this might be actually the more fun section of this course here real quick. So we're going to go through some of these. There's lots of different reasons, right? We talked about humor. We talked about, we see these motivational posts. We see posts that are for engagement, right? We're looking for people to comment and react and to share this content. There's lots of different reasons we share posts on social media, and these are just some of them. Maybe there's a charity aspect to it, or this giving back nature. Business promotion, right? This is probably what people are utilizing the most, and they need to be utilizing the least, is just talking about yourself. Again, I'll kind of refer back to one of my other classes. We need to treat social media as if we're talking to real people, like face to face. So if we're having a conversation with each other and I keep talking about me and what I'm doing and my business and why you should buy my stuff, that's a really boring conversation for you, especially when we're face to face, right? It's kind of rude. So we need to think about social media as something that is for all of us. I don't need to just talk about me. I need to create content for the end user, right? Which is why we're doing this. This is why we have our social media account to begin with, is for the end user, for your customer, for your audience. So business promotion is great. We need to have it, but not all the time. If you're building a community, if you're sharing what other people are doing in your organization, or if you're trying to let people know of opportunities that are happening in your community, maybe you want to go a little more personal. I love when people post, more personal stuff on their social media accounts. Now, I don't necessarily need my accountant telling me all about their divorce. I prefer not to know, right? That gives us a little weird feeling. But there's a lot of personal content that we can post on our business accounts to make us seem like real people with real lives and with real problems and with real struggles. So the personal stuff can actually be kind of interesting. The behind the scenes stuff, love it. I love knowing how something is made, how something is done. Your audience is sure to love it as well. Lifestyle posts. So look at the stuff that's trending. Look at the stuff that might not have to do with your business specifically, but there may be some tie in there. And then education, right? We all hopefully like to learn, we like to know new things. And, if you're following social media accounts that give you that educational aspect, there's nothing like that, right? It's giving of yourself. It's providing access to information. And a business account that can educate without giving their trade secrets away, that's a reason to follow that account. So we're going to go through examples of all of these, and if you see a business that you know or you like, feel free to drop me a comment, ask me your questions. we'll pause and we'll go through and we'll pick all this stuff apart. So let's talk about humor. So Mid-Continent Public Library. We share a lot of memes out of our account, and it's because we know our customer likes to laugh. We also know our customer can relate to this particular image. And just in case you can't see it, and it looks like there may be a little bit of a glare on the screen, so I'll read it to you real quick, but it says, Anatomy of a Bookworm. And it's kind of broken this person down into different segments. And it says 22% would rather be reading. 4% spent money on their books. 8% no such thing as too many books. 25% books are better than people. And it goes through, this breakdown of a bookworm or a book person. And why would the library share that, right? Because we know our customer. Our customers utilize the library. They can relate with a lot of this stuff. And in the comments, you can tell that people have engaged with that. They're like, oh my gosh, that's so me. Oh my gosh, I'm going to tag my sister in this because that is so her. There's engagement when it comes to that. And it makes people laugh. So this would be your humor campaign, right? This is an example of that. Now, this is something that we didn't create. We didn't go out, have a graphic designer create all this. There's stuff that we just share, right? This public domain stuff that we can go out and we can find. So there's a lot of really funny stuff out there. Even better if it directly relates to your business. Motivation, right? So quotes, any sort of inspiration, that motivation. Cowork KCI, which is an awesome business up near the airport. It's a co-working facility. But they, just in the last weeks, they've been sharing these photos with either a caption for the photo or like some sort of insight. So instead of just posting a picture and letting it kind of speak for itself, they're putting their personality in and what they've kind of gotten from that photo. So that you can see that this is a person out exercising, and the insight that they've pulled from that is innovation and creativity blossom when you balance stress and self-care. In between computer work, calls, and Zoom meetings, take time for yourself, take a walk. And so that it's this motivational, it makes you feel good, right? It's that feel-good post. And guess what? They're not saying like, hey, like book a room at our facility. Hey, make sure that you're using our co-working stuff. It's not so salesy, but it lets you know what their brand is. And their brand is taking care of their customer. They want to make sure that you're taken care of. So we can see that through the content that they post. Let me come down here to our comments. All right. The puppy approach, for sure. I promise you that there's going to be puppies coming up here real shortly. The puppy approach, the baby approach. So if you've got a puppy or a baby, definitely cats if you're a librarian. The stereotypical stuff, love it. This is content that's going to do really, really well for you. Let's see. So engagement. This is one of my favorite things on social media are the posts that are obviously for engagement, which is great. They're not trying to trick you. They know exactly what they're doing and what they're after. So Morgan Miller Plumbing, if you don't follow them on social media, I would say pause this video and go do it and then come back. Like that's how awesome their social media is. It's because they're constantly diversifying their content. They're using the humor. They're using the engagement. But something they just posted was this image that says, you were quarantined with the first artist you saw in concert. Who is it? Now this might seem like, okay, well anybody could say something like that. They could. Absolutely anybody could. Why this though, right? So we're talking music, right? The first artist you saw in concert. Now when people start talking music, they get very prideful, right? My first concert was Shania Twain, so everybody can take that to the bank. But we like talking. We like the nostalgia of our memories, right? And what happens is somebody sees this and they're like, oh, my first concert was awesome. And then they want to talk about it, right? So I don't know that Shania Twain and I could be quarantined together. We'd probably do all right, just hang out in our separate rooms, do a little like boot kicking. I don't know. We would have a good time probably. Shania Twain, like everybody just tag Shania Twain in this post and we'll see if we can get some traction there. But something like this is strictly after engagement. They're after comments. And when we go back to the algorithm, right, the more comments that occurs on a post, the more likely it's to be shown to more people afterwards. So this post on their page, just has so many comments on it, and it's funny. It's kind of imaginative, right? We like thinking about things that will never happen or could never happen. But we also are really prideful when it comes to something that's happened to us. We want to share that information. So this is a great example of an engagement post. And they didn't have to type a whole bunch on the top here. It just says, good question, who's yours? Hashtag COVID poll, right? And they're just asking their audience these questions. Now this is a plumbing business, right? What does this have to do with plumbing? Absolutely nothing. But it's all about connecting with their customer and knowing more about their customer. So this is something that I really enjoyed when I saw on social media, and you'll start to notice when you scroll through your Facebook pages when people are looking for engagement, because it's usually going to have a question, right? Like, who is it, or tell me more about it. Giving back. So giving back is another form of content that we can push out, and it's another form of a campaign, right? So this is not to say that you need to drop your prices and start donating or give coupons out to lots of people. Absolutely not. If it works for you, go for it. If it doesn't, you can just kind of skip through this part. So giving back, this is, again, one of my favorite t-shirt companies in Kansas City, Decaf Tees. We're donating 100% of proceeds to local Blue Springs businesses. And they've printed these quarantine shirts. So in case of toilet paper emergency, cut on dotted lines, and the dotted lines are on the shirt. So it's, their gimmick is kind of like, it acts as like a little like tube top too, or what's a cutoff shirt, right? So this is, it's funny, but all of the shirts that they sold here, they donated back into the Blue Springs businesses. This is my social distancing shirt. We're in this together. We can see that the giving back aspect of it is still about their business. It's still got the brand of their business on there. So that's another form of a campaign that you might consider. Business promotion. So this is the stuff that you're probably going to lean toward the most. It's fine. We need to make sure that we are promoting our own business. But we also want to make sure that we're doing it in like a savory way, and we are diversifying our content. So if we post like once every single day, like, hey, check out my website, buy my thing, schedule now, buy your ticket, whatever. If we're constantly asking and asking and asking for something, it's going to get really old with your audience. So make sure that you're using these business promos in a good way. You're getting the most out of it. So one of my favorite restaurants in Kansas City is Tasty Thai. And so their business, promo content that they posted, this was a few weeks ago on April 3rd, but they did this family meal, right? So you can get this, just huge thing of fried rice, and you got to order pot stickers, and it was all for $25. So they were doing this like, not only just to help them keep their doors open, while people were trying to figure out how to do curbside and how to do all this, this quarantine food situation, but they wanted to make sure that people knew that they were doing this deal. And I have to admit, I did it. It was excellent. I would do it again. But yeah, so you've got your business promo. Now, something to consider when you're doing those business promo is, I've already said it, but I'm going to say it again. Make sure you're getting everything out of it. Don't post something that you didn't think too much about, or you didn't put too much thought behind. You want to make sure that you've got a great photo like this, and you want to make sure that you're utilizing that text appropriately. Get everything out of that business promo that you possibly can. When we talk about campaigns, every single time we post, we're also promoting our business a little bit, because we've got that logo associated with it. It's us posting it. So we're always promoting our business a little bit, even though we're not directly like asking somebody for something. Community. So got a shout out to our friends over at KC SourceLink. They're probably the best in the metro about this community approach when it comes to content. And so something that they shared recently was small business financing, during this epidemic. So they wanted to let everybody know that there were small business grants available, and this is how to apply for those. And if they have any questions, feel free to reach out to them. So this is a very huge community approach to social media and to content creation, is making sure that the people that follow this page are getting the good information that's going to help them. So that's, if you have something going on in your community, if there's even something like your neighborhood, some sort of fair going on, or a festival, or If there's a discount going on in your neighborhood, let people know, build other people up. Another way that we can utilize community as a campaign is to tag other organizations, tag other businesses. Again, it's the golden rule, right? We want shares and comments and likes on Facebook. So does everyone else. So if we can do our end to help others by boosting them up and sharing their articles and commenting on their content, that is a form of content creation for us. It's another form of working that algorithm and getting that better traction on social media. So the personal stuff. Again, we're talking the puppy approach. Gotta love Pepper over at Rieger. But you can see Pepper is on their cute little slide here. Where'd everybody go? Well, Pepper, the distillery dog, misses seeing you all. She's taking full advantage of having free reign of the place, right? So this is not a sales post. This is strictly like, hey, remember the dog that we have? Well, we're utilizing the best of it here, and Pepper's going nuts and obviously going down that slide all the time, right? So we like the personal approach. We like seeing the human aspect of some of our businesses. So that's, again, we can call it the puppy approach, the baby approach, the family approach, right? We can bring some of us, some of our personality, some of our life into our posts. And this is a perfect way to do that, is to talk about the business, right? But also bring in that human element, or the puppy element. Behind the scenes content. I can't say enough about behind the scenes content. It's why people follow you on all these different social medias, is to learn more about you, not only as a business, but like as a person, right? So this is Kevin with Cellar Rat Wine Merchants downtown, and Kevin does a ton of social media videos. And so if you need help on maybe how to get started with some of these videos, go check out Cellar Rat's Facebook page, because they post videos every week highlighting different wines that they've got, highlighting different events that they're doing. So absolutely go check that out. But something that's really, really cool that Kevin does are these behind the scenes things. So he was actually getting ready for a video, right? He was setting his wine bottles up for the video, and he snapped this picture. And he said, it's almost time. If you want to taste at home, call the store to order and pick up before 5 p.m., right? And they tagged the wine that they were featuring in that video. So this is kind of a behind-the-scenes look of, what does it look like when Kevin's not, behind the counter and talking and showing you all the different wine selections. This is what it looks like when he's getting ready for that. And so that behind-the-scenes content, right now with everyone sewing masks and doing these creative jobs at home, showing how you do that, showing how you do your job, how you're staying productive while in quarantine is the behind the scenes content that we all need and that we're all kind of thirsty for. Let's see. All right. Yeah, so that's another one real quick. Lifestyle. We're gonna go the puppy approach again because I love dogs. So Casey Pet Project. It's a longer post, but I want to make sure you guys kind of get the point of it. So in honor of the NFL draft this evening and in support of our Kansas City Chiefs, our fosters are getting into the spirit and showing their support for our hometown team. And then they went through and they tagged some different organizations. But all these foster animals that they've got are wearing Chiefs apparel because it was the draft, right? We were near the draft. Take what's happening, take what's trending, and go with it, right? This post could have easily been like, hey, we've got fosters, make sure to check them out on our website. But then that goes back to business promotion, right? We lose some of the fun aspect to it. So what do? They just put them in Chiefs apparel, and they made it draft related. And all of a sudden, this is going to get way more viewership and way more engagement because of that lifestyle aspect. People were talking about the Chiefs. People were talking about the draft. And this was relative to what was happening in time at that moment. So the lifestyle posts are great. These are kind of boiled down to different holidays, the sporting events, anything that's like currently trending. So we've got lots of, TikTok is like a huge thing right now. People are learning these funny dances. The lifestyle, the biggest lifestyle thing happening right now, right, is this coronavirus and how people are adapting and how people are coping, not only like at home, but at work. And so these are great posts to put out because, again, we're getting that human connection with other people. And education. I don't need to give an example because you guys are watching an educational piece of content right now. If you're going to create content for the sole purpose of educating, do it. People like learning things like that, and whether that's through a live video or through photo testimonials, anything. There's a lot of stuff that we can do to educate our community that's not giving away those trade secrets or how you do something exactly. So the education aspect is really cool. So I ask you, is there something that you do well that you could teach other people to do? And if you can, video yourself doing it, or write down step by step how to do that. Take pictures along the way and let people in to some of that. Can you give tips or tricks for your industry? I see a lot of stuff with insurance, homeowners insurance, or home loans, lots of different real estate stuff online right now, and nobody's saying this is how to become a realtor, this is how to become a mortgage banker. Nobody's going to watch that. People go to school for that, right? But what they can do is say, these are the top 5 things to look out for when buying a home, right? That's still educational. It's still representative of your business, but it's not over the top, this is how to do what I do. They're going to pay you for that, right? They're paying you to do what you do, but give them some information to help them make better decisions when it comes to their buying process. So that's another form of education that we can put out. So those are just some really broad, specific, awesome examples of some content that we can put out. Next, I want to talk about tools. So again, I've broken this off into 2 sections. So when it comes to content, we want to make sure that we are utilizing all the tools available to us. So we've got scheduling tools, so tools that are going to help us, manage our time a little better and be a little more organized when it comes to posting on different accounts at different times. And then we've got our design tools, right? So the tools that are going to help us actually create the visual content. So I'm going to talk about both of those real quick. Again, these are not all-inclusive lists. These are just things that we've used. So I suggest Google them, play with them, see what you like, see what you don't like, and let me know what works best for you. I'm always interested to know what you guys are using or what the latest scheduling app is. So please let us know. We are always looking for that kind of information. So scheduling, one of the first ones was Hootsuite, right? And it's still free. There's always going to be a paid version of all of these. So definitely go after the free version at first. If you fall in love with it and you decide to buy a pro version of that, great. I'm glad you found something you like. But for now, play with the free stuff. Get used to it a little bit. But Hootsuite, Buffer, you've got TweetDeck. TweetDeck is almost specifically for Twitter. Sprout Social, Later. All of these are different apps. These are different websites that you can utilize to schedule posts to go out on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn. It's a place for you to kind of control all of that in one spot. Now, I will talk about scheduling. If you are a beginner, which this class is for beginners for the most part, but if you are strictly worried about your Facebook page, you don't really need to go through these scheduling apps to schedule your Facebook post, because Facebook has a built-in scheduler for you. So when you go to your Facebook page, up at the top there's going to be a tab that says Publishing Tools. And if you click on that, it's going to allow you to upload the content that you want to post, type your copy in, and it's going to say, do you want to publish or do you want to schedule this? And you can go through and you can schedule months out in advance, years out in advance. So if you have more than one social media account that you're trying to schedule for, absolutely look into using an app for that. If you are just trying to manage one, then you might want to use that specific scheduler on that platform. Then we're going to talk design. It's no secret that I'm in love with Canva. I've taught 2 classes on it so far. I've done numerous one-on-ones about Canva. I think it's a really great website. It's an awesome application, and especially if you need help with some of the design aspects of creating social media posts, Canva's a great thing to use. But there's other stuff out there, right? You've got Adobe Spark. Now, when you get into the Adobe stuff, you're like, okay, well, that seems kind of expensive, but they have a free version of this Adobe Spark. Play around with it, see what you like, and if you decide to, drop thousands of dollars on the Adobe suite, let me use it, because that seems like a good time. Then you got like Bitable, Lumen 5, Giphy. There are billions of different apps for you to get that design element in. So we want to make sure that we are utilizing some of these tools. We want to make sure that we are, at least if we're not using one of these tools, we are thinking about scheduling as something that's really important for our business. Because we know that once you get into your business, maybe you're a restaurant owner, your passion, right, is the cooking, right? It's your restaurant. It's the place where you are most passionate about. It's the place where you feel comfortable. Now, the place where you don't feel comfortable is probably talking about yourself on social media. So if you are meal prepping, or you're getting all your stuff ready for the week, and maybe Sunday is your cook day, right? You're getting a bunch of stuff ready, you're making schedules, you're doing menus. Pick a different day to talk about social media, right? Sit down for an hour or two and just think to yourself, okay, Monday, what do I want to post on Monday? And remember, when you're doing that, to diversify your content. You're not going to want to post a picture of food every single day, because that's not diversity, right? We want to make sure that we are getting lots of different stuff for lots of different reasons. So just consider that. And then the design, play around with stuff. Utilize your brand colors, like pull your logo out. There's lots of different ways that, instead of just posting a picture that you've taken from your phone, which is great, I suggest it, but you can go through some of these design tools and throw your logo on every single thing that you post. That way it's all branded. Maybe if you're creating really beautiful things, you want to throw watermarks so other people can't steal your stuff. There are lots of tools out there to be able to do that. So utilize some of this stuff, play around with it. If you have more questions on how these different applications work, again, please message us. We want to help you. We want to have those virtual meetings with you, and we're itching to have those conversations with you. So real quick, before I get done, I want to go over some what I'm going to call easy stuff to get started. And it was for lack of a better word, right? There's so much content that some people might think is easy, and some content that might, seem a little more difficult. Certainly video seems like it might be a little more time intensive, but it doesn't have to be, right? We all have these professional cameras that we carry around in our pocket, and we can create videos relatively easy. But if you're having trouble thinking about what you could possibly post, then here's some easy stuff just to get yourself started. Hashtags for days. So we know that hashtags can be utilized all the time, but when hashtags just kind of started, getting the ball rolling, a lot of people went directly to day-specific hashtags. And so these are some examples. These are some really popular examples. So if this works for you, absolutely go into it. So something that people do are Motivation Monday, right? So when they see the hashtag Motivation Monday, as a business owner, you're like, okay, well, I can post something motivational on Monday. And so what does that look like? Maybe it looks like an obstacle that you overcame this past week, and it's just a picture of you being super excited. Or maybe you use Canva to create a beautiful image with a quote on it that's inspirational or motivational for you. So that's the kind of content that you can create with Motivation Monday, right? You've also got Monday Fun Day. If you're having fun on Monday, absolutely post about it. There's a lot of examples on here. Transformation Tuesday, what did you look like way back when, or what did your business look like way back when? Tech Tuesday, if you're giving technology tips, or if you're having technology problems, even better. Wisdom Wednesday, so if you want to share a fun fact, or establish yourself as that industry thought leader. Hump Day, right? That's what Wednesday is. It's Hump Day. Thank you, that beautiful Camel commercial. Gotta love it. Thankful Thursday, Throwback Thursday, Feature Friday. So Feature Friday would be great if you want to highlight other businesses, if you want to highlight your business partners. TGIF, Saturday night, hashtag Weekend Vibes. That's fun, right? So this may give you some ideas for things that you can post just throughout the week based on what day it is. Now, once you start utilizing these a little more, you can start maybe kind of creating your own daily hashtags, right? So something that Square One did for a while was T-shirt Tuesday, and we'd all wear like a local T-shirt on Tuesdays and take a picture and post it. Of course, you want to make sure that you can remain consistent with that. But those are things that you can kind of use to get started when you're thinking about creating content. Another thing, holiday posts. So we know the big holidays, right? We've got like 16 like big holidays throughout the year, but there's now like a national holiday every single day for some random thing. So I'm gonna go over the national holidays real quick, or the bigger holidays. So my friends have this awesome business called Matte Canvas and Cookie, and they're artists. I mean, they're truly artists, but they've been making these amazing cookies for people to use at their events. But they have these beautiful cookies that are for Nurse Appreciation Day, Mother's Day, and Teachers Appreciation Day, and they're very specific to those days. And they're just talking about like, hey, like make sure you're ordering, and here's some pictures of it. So they're utilizing the holiday to actually sell their product, right? So you're getting a mixture of different campaigns, right? It's business promotion, but it's also a little bit of community. It's a little bit of lifestyle, because everybody wants to thank a nurse right now, right? We all know that we want to show our appreciation to our nurses and to our teachers. We all want to make sure that our mom feels really, really loved, even though if we can't physically be there with her. So what better thing to send her than some awesome cookies, right? So anyway, this is an example of how we can utilize those holiday posts. This is almost an even better example than a post that says, you know, Happy Mother's Day, we appreciate all moms, or Merry Christmas, or Happy Thanksgiving, or whatever we're posting. This is kind of double duty, right? It's like we're acknowledging the holiday, but we're also going to try to make some money off of it. And then, you know, we go back to these, like, I'm not positive that they're made up days, but it seems like they might be made up days. But again, with Morgan Miller Plumbing, all it says is, maybe from a distance this year, hashtag National Hug a Plumber Day. Now, I didn't know that that was a day. My dad's a plumber, so I need to do a little more research. But this is a picture that they had taken last year on National Hug a Plumber Day. And so these are ways that we can kind of get away with content if we're a little wary of what kind of content we can be putting out. Go to nationaldaycalendar.com or just Google National Day Calendar, and they're going to give you, every single day has like multiple national days. And so find something that's funny for you or that works for your business, and you can post about that. And that is another form of content that you can put out. The bigger ones are like National Dog Day or National Cat Day or National Sibling Day. There's a lot of like bigger ones that we're able to use in our lifestyle goals. And then questions. You can't go wrong with asking your audience questions. And they could be business related, but they can also be kind of like, you know, a free-for-all, right? Like we can talk about like, oh, if you're stuck in quarantine with the first artist you saw in concert, who is it? People like answering your questions. So just some ideas, you know, like what is your favorite food? What is your favorite local restaurant? What is your favorite activity to do in quarantine? There's a lot of different ideas out there that we can ask our audience. And we can make it really specific to our business, right? So as someone who works for the library, I can say, you know, what is your favorite research database? And hopefully get some engagement from that. I have a favorite research database, but I don't know that everyone does. Would you rather live on an island or live in a mountain? You know, there's a lot of different stuff that we can play around with. If you could have dinner with any famous person, who would it be? Tell me about your first car. Fill in the blank. Fill in the blanks are fun, right? Like, this is pretty easy content to create. Like, fill in the blank. Blank inspires me. Blank motivates me. If I won the lottery, I would spend my money on blank, right? There's a lot of different ideas and questions that we can ask our audience, and that's maybe some fun content, right? It gets people back to the social part of social media and having that dialogue with other people and commenting on other answers. There's going to be a lot of really fun answers you get from some of this, and the best thing we can do is to keep that conversation going. Respond to them, ask them why, you know, they chose that particular thing, or if they tell you about their first car. My first car was a Pontiac Sunfire. and it had softballs painted all over it, that's a conversation starter, right? So we might get into this conversation about, like, why in the world would I have softballs painted on my car? But there's a lot of stuff that we can really use to engage our audience. This or that. If you have a business and you have like products, or if you're a library and you've got like the two of the most popular books of the year, ask people, did you like this one or do you like this one? Do you like this beer better or do you like this wine better? Do you like this t-shirt better or do you like this t-shirt better? There's always someone that wants to give their opinion, and the this or that is a great way to do that. Facebook makes it really easy, and Instagram makes it really easy because you can upload multiple pictures, right? So you can upload 2 pictures and say this one or this one, and let people engage with that information. So those are our 3 like easy things to just get started. Hashtags for days, asking people questions, and of course we can't forget our awesome holiday post, National Hug a Plumber Day. Is there a there's a National High Five a Librarian Day, but I'm not sure what day that is. So hopefully it's back when we're like being social with each other, because I'm going to go around and get high fives from everyone. That being said, I've talked for, again, nearly an hour. I want to make sure that you guys are getting the information that you are looking for. So this is our website. It's mymcpl.org/square1. A bunch of our research databases are on there if you want to know more about online learning. If you want to take some courses in some of the stuff I've talked about, we've got that information there. If you have very specific questions, or if you want to have a one-on-one with a business specialist, please email us at square1@mymcpl.org. We want to hear from you. We want to help you. Most importantly, we want to have some human interaction while we're all in quarantine. And probably the most important thing, and I'm going to say it again, guys, we are funded by a grant from the Kauffman Foundation, and surveys are super, super important for us and for them. And if you would please fill out that survey for us, it is going to be in the description of this class. Follow that link. Let us know what you think. And also let us know what other educational opportunities you're looking for. I would have never created a content creation class if it wouldn't have been for people asking for it. I would have never thought about doing an Instagram stories and a Facebook stories class unless people had asked for it. So let us know what you're looking for. Let us know how we can help you. Let us know how this class was, and I would be much appreciative about that. That being said, I'm gonna see if there are any other questions here real quick. This is going to be saved to the Square One page, so if you missed it, or if you need to go back and learn a little bit more about something else that I said, or if you just need to get a refresher, it's going to be on the Square One page. It's going to be archived. I've got like an entire playlist right now called like Hannah's how-to videos or social media videos, so I'm basically a viral like superstar right now. That being said, please fill out that survey. Join us next week if you want to know more about how to use stories on social media. I'm going to have my phone hooked up to the TV. It's going to be a technological calamity. It's going to be super. Anyway, so thank you for joining me. I hope you guys have an awesome Tuesday. I hope you have a great rest of the week. I hope that I get to see you guys in person really, really soon. I am losing my mind a little bit, so we'll see how crazy I can be next week. Again, fill out the survey. Thank you guys so much. I hope to hear from you soon.